you have with them, then they have the capability, and you can ensure that the sustainability can be achieved very easily. Because everybody will be participate in any program you introduce, and this is what exactly I call it the development goals achieve. You creating dignity, you empower them, you give them what I call as legal power. Every single community needs to have their own legal power. Okay, then you see that's the technical capability and managerial capability also can be achieved in that village. Because this is like I'm just trying to figure out how long is it. Because when people say like, do you think it takes too long? Especially, I'm glad we have Mas Zebi here that is coming from the government officers, you know. So you know that in Indonesia we really have to find a way, a good way, how the money can be absorbed by the community in a good way. Because if it's not, everything is time constrained. You have to discuss everything in a 1 year planning, implementing, and making people understand in 1 year, one go. So sometimes this is not enough, because you need what I call it social preparation. Social preparation really play a big role if you want to develop the people in the grassroots level. So, well, this is exactly, you know, how we're trying to make it step by step development phase. This is how the basic principle. Initiative for community-based development or social business, we call it. We have to have respect to the local community, because then we make them participate in the development process, and we can achieve what I call it empowerment stages. Community is being empowered. If this has happened, the local capacity will be built among them, and also there is an equity building. I love to say that equity, ownership. If you want to give dignity, they have to have their own things in the village. Like everything is locally owned. They think that this is for us very important, that we have to really taking care of. And this will make us can sleep very nicely once they know exactly what to do. That's why the paradigm of the development is really putting what we call it the local wisdom. We put it in very first priority. You can imagine this is spin-off, then the intrinsic empowerment can be built. I hope I don't speak very fast. So this is exactly that we would like to really put on in any development process. So let's start. What is actually the basic requirement? As an engineer, I always say that, well, technology is a way to lift up the community life. That's true. We have so many agricultural products, but there isn't any technology being introduced, then everything is traditional and it doesn't give any added value. The beauty of technology, appropriate technology, is giving added value to any agricultural product, then end up by improving the welfare of the community, because the added value is stay there. As this is just summarized from what it's before I explained to you, that's 30% of technical reliability and operational dependability. One, we have an experience that the community is very good, very solid, but those people who come in with a top-down approach, bringing them technology, I don't want to mention where it's coming from, but it's not reliable. It's creating frustration. Because how good you are if every single month you have to fix the technology that is in your village, then you don't have any other means of making it good and sustainable. People are like, oh, the energy is gone. That's why it is very important. I call it trust bearing, something that we can rely on. And then from that point, we know that local organization and institution is also the biggest role that they play there. Then local benefit and added value. This is somewhere I mentioned in the previous, giving them benefit. And if we can achieve these three elements, if there is the external factor happen, for instance, like we have in 97, 98, we have turbulence in our economic, downturns, and if the 30% is very tough, then it's okay. But if it's not, then it will be very easy, This is an example. If the 30% is not really dependable, yeah, I think all gone. So it's 30%, but it is important. So you have to be happy that the engineering guys here, because even though you only play 30% role, but you are the foundation of the development. This has come to the improvement in Indonesian case, the engine of development. What people has already talking about it, and I know that President Obama was thinking that if American can be like that, because you have so many entrepreneurs here, so why don't we create entrepreneur also in a different country? Because they believe that, well, they have a concern. America has concern that, like Egypt, other developing countries, that especially in a Muslim country, they really want to introduce the entrepreneurship, especially social entrepreneurship. Because then this will absorb so many jobs, create a very good standard of living to those people who can be jumped to that. Businesses, but in Indonesian case, I believe that social business has to be introduced, because we realize that now the current situation is so much the disparities due to the unbalanced development, that like the rich getting richer, the poor is becoming poorer. And the only solution, in my opinion, that we have to introduce social business, creating more social entrepreneurs that can create dependent technology, also empowerment concept. I just would like to make a hyperlink. I hope this is here. This is what the energy, the electricity is work for. It's not just lighting. I told many times to the government officer, if you ask me just to make electricity, maybe I will say no. Because for me, electricity is not developed. But economic development needs electricity. This is what I believe. So this kind of very small things we introduced in a very remote area of Aceh, where it needs 15 hours driving in a very bumpy and road from Banda Aceh, but only 10, still 10 hours from Medan, northern part of Sumatra. You can reach there. The beauty of having electricity, then I love that, because many women who are always creative. I have to say sorry that in many Indonesian culture that women play a big role. They are the breadwinner of the family. Not particular in that place also. They can make the electricity, and what they do is when we have electricity, they sit and they ask me, could we make very good patchouli oil? Patchouli is like the basic of perfumery oil, or lemongrass oil. It's a very, having a very good economical value. Because when we make traditionally, we are only able to make 1 kilo a day. And we have to go to the bushes to cut the trees. That's make our forest become very bad. And we are really, in a condition that the quality, the clarity of the oil is also very bad, the price is also very low. Once we introduce this distillation system, they can produce like more than 3 kilos a day of very good clarity, very good price, and they don't have to go to the forest. This is what the beauty of technology when we implement it correctly. And this is the differences between the left and the right, the different clarity and the type. This is only in the red, it's only like $20 per kilo, and the left is $50 a kilo. So you can see the differences. And this is also helping many women. This is Kamiri, candle nut. Without this electricity, they need 4 days with a very heat sun, and all done by the woman. Every morning you have to really put everything in front of the house, somewhere on the street, and during the night time you have to collect everything and get it back home. This is done all in all like that, 4 days. But after you have this, it's only 6 hours. So you can imagine. The woman usually got the more benefit because they are the one that are really thinking how to create the added value to this agricultural product. This is going to be my last, but I would like to share with you. This is the empowerment principle. How can we empower the local community? What kind of approach we need? Every villager, not just Indonesia, and Africa, everywhere, it is always the local resources. How can we transform these local resources to be a local contribution to any kind of development that we are going to introduce in the village level? There are some of very important elements that is always there. Villagers has motivation. They also have self-confidence, self-valuation, good experiences, creativity, everything they have. And we can, using all these elements, to convert the local resources to become a local contribution. And as a programmer, if we bring a program for them, the program has to have a good orientation. So this is like planting small seed. You want the seed grows very nicely in a good soil with all these elements. And then it can grow to be a very nice tree. And it has to be realistic, the formulation of the program. As I mentioned before, without any local organization, then it's better not to have any program, because everybody owns it, nobody owns it. But if you put the responsibility to this local institution, they are the one that can be one organization. You could hand it over the responsibility. And this organization was actually formed under consensus of the whole community. Everything has to be decided in this organization. That's why it's very important. We have so many different experiences. Most of the people love to have like electricity cooperative. We just want to have local cooperative. In Aceh, no, we don't want to have like a village utility. Sounds great because we have national utility PLN, and we want to have a village utility. Some of them would like to have like village enterprises, whatever. They can name it as they like, as long as locally managed and operated. Technical appropriateness, all you understand that? If they only need a very small micro hydro turbine, why should we give them nucleus? Doesn't make sense. Subsequent cost for sustainability. We know that because we have to discuss this during the village meeting. And then the consideration of political structure. Maybe I have to explain a little bit.
not just a country, but also a village.